Access Hampton and Harris with Bobbi Roquemore, where the world of sports meets the mic and the hammer of the law.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to the very first edition of Hampton and Harris with Bobbi Roquemore here on Sports Fluent. Hello to all our friends out there. I know a lot of you guys know me from our Monday show that I do with Paul Mokeski. We Got Next. Paul Mokeski, the former Milwaukee Bucks legend. Of course, you guys know me from that show. I'm Rickey Hampton, longtime sports writer, and I'm joined on this show by one of America's great sports writers and authors, my great friend, John Harris, born and raised in Philadelphia. J.D. Harris has covered all manner of sports, almost as long as me. J.D., you damn near as old as me, man.
Man, we got about 100 years. We got about 100 years combined.
Yeah,
together, man.
Hey, but brother, you have seen some stuff. I have seen some stuff.
Yeah.
And we also have our great friend, Bobbi Roquemore, who's going to be joining us periodically throughout our show. She is an attorney based out of, she works out of Houston and Cleveland, and knows a lot about the world of sports and the business of sports. And hey, JD, in sports these days, you damn near need to have an attorney on your speed dial.
On staff, yeah, ready to go whenever.
Yeah. So I hope you guys will be tuning in to check us out on Wednesdays, and feel free to shower us with your questions and comments about whatever you have on your mind in the world of sports. And we'll be happy to try to, discuss them with you, maybe have a few comments. And we will certainly have some comments and responses to them. So again, welcome to Harris and Hampton with Bobbi Roquemore. JD, man, it's an honor to do this show with you, brother.
I'm so excited about it, man. I mean, it's just two old heads just getting together, talking about what we love, and maybe in a little bit different way than people are accustomed.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mentioned that John Harris is also, and I call him JD Harris. John Harris is a author who just finished a new edition of his book on Coach Tomlin of the Pittsburgh Steelers. JD, we're on a whole new network, a whole new group of friends who are meeting us. Let's start off talking about your book that you actually so popular you had to do another edition of it.
Hey, that's right. So nice they had to do it twice. Tomlin, the soul of a football coach. And yeah, the story, the biography, the only biography of Pittsburgh Steelers coach Mike Tomlin. I had the fortune of covering his first 10 years with the Pittsburgh Tribune Review, and decided we need to do a book on this guy. And I was surprised that there hadn't been one done. And a fascinating read, I think, because he's a guy that everybody knows who he is. They see him on TV every Sunday or Monday night, but people don't know a lot about him. And the book talks about his early years as a small college coach, as a small college football star, as a wide receiver, and moving up through the ranks and becoming the Steelers coach, where he's now in his 19th season, which I've been told makes him the longest tenured coach in North American sports, in professional sports. I don't care what sport, North American professional sports, he's the longest tenured coach.
Wow, that is absolutely nuts. And Tomlin played at William and Mary. Where did he grow up, JD?
He grew up in Hampton, Virginia, probably about a half an hour or so from it. Yeah, Hampton. Yeah, Hampton. And as I learned, and you learn in the book, his older brother, Ed Tomlin, was really an outstanding football player. Played at the University of Maryland, and I think maybe had a shot at the NFL. He got hurt his senior year and was not able to continue his football career. But may have actually been a better football player than his brother.
Wow. Hey, and JD has not only covered the NFL, he has extensive experience covering the NBA. And I don't know, was this 25, 30 years ago when you started talking about, JD was the first person, this is not analytics. Uh, the system that you've been using for more than 30 years, and I've used it the last 2 years, and it's better than analytics, and it's called Tendex. And we're going to talk a little bit about how you factor Tendex, and we're going to look at some of the Tendex ratings of the young NBA season. But JD, tell us about Tendex.
Tendex is a point per minute rating system. It's very basic and simple. You take everybody's stats, all of your positive stats, your negative stats, you compile them, you come up with a game pace, which is the speed that the team plays at. You also include minutes and things like that, and you come up with a team rating. So each team is assigned a Tendex rating, and the same thing applies to the players. You're able to, look at the players' ratings. For the first week, I just did some team ratings, which some people may find a little surprising. Some they won't find it surprising, but it's interesting because you can look at a team's record, and then you can look at the Tendex rating, and they're not always the same. Just because the team has a good record, it doesn't mean their Tendex is going to be the same. And it also means that maybe a team that's record is not as good at that particular point in time may actually have a better Tendex rating than a team that has a better record.
And I'm looking at last year, of course, we all know Oklahoma City took the NBA title, and they finished the regular season with a 111.5 Tendex rating. And it was fourth among all the NBA champions since 1980. And what I like about Tendex, JD, you could go back in time and rate teams against each other.
Yeah, you can go back there, as far back as they were keeping statistics. And the thing is, to do Tendex, you have to have all the statistics. So you have to, there was a time when the NBA didn't keep block shots and things like that. So you have
JD, you there?
All of those stats are available. And so I went back to 1980, what you're talking, 45 years, right? 1980, 90, 20, does that sound right?
Unfortunately, yes.
45 years?
Yes.
So, and I think that's a pretty good indicator, right? I mean, that means last year, Oklahoma City regular season record going into the playoffs was better. Only 3 teams since 1980 were better. That includes the Pistons championship team, in 2000 when they upset the Lakers. It includes some of the Golden State Warriors teams, and I just took the liberty of doing a few ratings to start the season. Rick, I think you can talk about them. I think you got them.
Yeah,
I believe, and I'll tell you, I don't think anyone's surprised who the number 1 team is right now.
Yeah, and I'm going to break them down in conferences, and then we'll go and do just the overall league. And you're right, nobody's going to be surprised. Oklahoma City, 14-1, followed by Denver, led by the Joker. Houston, who just got Kevin Durant. San Antonio, which is off to a great start with Wemby. And of course, Oklahoma City's 14-1, Denver's 10-3, Houston's 9-3, San Antonio is 3-4. And I'm surprised that the Lakers are there, JD, at 11-4, and LeBron probably wasn't even on the just joined them last night, so he's not even part of this equation. So then you go east, and my beloved Pistons are sitting atop at 108.5. I find that funny because they would be 4th in the in the West, and I believe this is that. But that's what I'm saying. That equates because I think that the West is that strong. The Pistons in the East are 108.5. They're 13-2. Toronto 9-5, 104. The Knicks 8-5 are next at 104. Toronto's 104.2. Cleveland 10-5, 102.2, followed by Philly at 101.4, and they're 8-1, 8-5. I thought with Boston, JD, with Boston, really being down this year, not having the best player, Tatum, I thought Philly would really be a little stronger. And I gotta say, I'm shocked at how well the Pistons are playing. I know they are a good team from what they showed last year, but I didn't see this start coming. They've won 11 straight games.
Yeah, they have a really good team. A lot of good young players. Coach Bickerstaff has really come in and done an excellent job in molding this team and giving them an identity that they hadn't had in a long time. But I think the important thing is that if you looked at all the ratings, the top three teams rating-wise, Oklahoma City, Denver, and Houston, and Oklahoma City's rating actually is right now it's 3 points higher than what it was last year in the regular season. If they happen to finish with this similar rating, it'll be the highest rating of all time going into the playoffs for regular season if they're able to keep this pace the whole year. Which just shows how dominant they are. They only lost 14-1, and one of their best players isn't even playing yet. It's amazing how well they've done.
Right, and I really think the only thing that could stop them is if they have a rash of injuries, and JD, we don't want to see injuries. We got enough guys missing games in the NBA. We definitely don't want to see injuries, although it's a part of it. And tell me this, man, from your experience covering the league, and you covered the league when guys weren't. Some teams were just forgetting to fly private jets, but when travel was much harder, but the guys weren't going down as quickly back then. Can you have any theory on why we're seeing this?
It's a great question, because you would think with the modernization from the medical side and everything that's available to these athletes now, that it would be less, not more. And you got guys back then, the ice pack was their friend, and that's, and they went and they wrapped it up, strapped it up, and went out there and played 82 games, 80 games, 79 games. And I don't know. I don't know if is it clearly a physical thing? Is it a physical / mental thing? Do players just back then, did they just take it upon themselves that I'm not feeling the best or not doing the best, but you know what, I'm going to play? Where nowadays it's like, well, you know what, I got this $100 million contract I got to worry about. And if I need to sit out a few games, I'll just have to do that. And I don't know if that attitude has just been accepted. I'm not going one way or the other, but that's my throwing it up against the wall and see if it sticks. I just think that I think some of it's mental. I think it's just an attitude now that, I mean, look, OKC, I can't get upset with OKC. Their best player, the MVP from last year, Shai Gilgeous, how many fourth quarters has he not even played?
Yeah,
because they've been blowing everybody out. But he starts the game,
right?
Really, doing that. The fans are seeing him. It's just they don't need him for the fourth quarter, so they're taking him out, which is almost unbelievable.
Yeah. And JD, you have also seen the influx of foreign players coming to the NBA. We were covering the NBA when Tony Kukoc is coming over, the 6'11" guy who can shoot the three and pass the ball. You remember all that?
Yeah.
And now the last 7 NBA
I remember being stunned at how.
No, go ahead.
I don't see it changing. I don't see that trend changing anytime soon. Do you?
I don't.
I mean, if you had to flip a coin right now, who's going to be the MVP? Is it going to be Joker? Is it going to be It's going to be, SAG. Who's it going to
Yeah,
be?
yeah, absolutely. Uh, my friend Paul Mokeski always talks about USA basketball is in big trouble headed to the Olympics
Yep,
uh,
I agree.
in LA. We'll be lucky to medal. And I'm like, come on, Mo.
Wow.
When you look at the international teams now, uh,
Wow.
yeah. So yeah, we're there with that. But I do want to go a little bit back to the Tendex and then look at. We went over the West, we went over the East. The top five teams overall: Oklahoma City, 114.3, Denver, 111.4, Houston, this is the Tendex rating, 110.7, and Detroit for 108.5, and San Antonio 108. And what I like about this, it really shows the disparity between the West and the East.
Yeah.
Detroit would only be the fourth best team in the East and just a half a point ahead of San Antonio as the fifth. Now, that's not the Pistons' fault. The East
No.
is where they are. They just need to go out and keep playing. But I think that's really accurate when you just when the eye test of these teams. There's some monster teams in the West.
And there's some other good teams that aren't on that list. I just went with the top five. I mean, you still got Minnesota, which had a really big year last year. Very talented team. They had some losses. They suffered some losses, personnel losses. The West is just so deep. And that's where you look at the teams at the top, the OKC, the Houstons. Are they going to be able to just navigate this minefield the whole year, avoiding injury and just having a lot of tough games that they're going to have to encounter. But just what I've seen of OKC, just some of the highlights I've seen of them, they remind me, the way they've been passing the ball and defensively, they remind me of Nolan Richardson's 40 Minutes of Hell with the pressure.
Right. The
And offensively,
NBA
they remind me of a college team, the way they
version.
pass. Very rarely. Yeah. Very rarely do you see a team pass the ball the way they do. They pass it, the ball moves, everybody touches it. You have to be able to shoot.
Yeah.
On OKC, if you can't shoot, they're not just wasting a spot for a guy that can't shoot. Everybody.
JD, I think I lost you.
Can you hear me? No.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I got.
You were just saying the way they can shoot the ball, and then I lost you.
Oh yeah, just everybody on the floor shoots it. I know the centers, the one center they picked up from the Knicks last year, Hardenstein. I thought he was like a role kind of a thumper kind of guy, a garbage basket type of guy. I think there's one game this year he had like 30 points, and he's shooting with confidence. I don't know. I just think winning the championship just elevated that team's confidence to another.
And JD, they are winning games by an average of almost 16 points a game, which is why Shea is sitting out the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Because you win about 16, you probably up 25, 30 points. And the losing team probably knocks 9 or 10 points off in the final quarter because you sit everybody and them brothers trying to get their numbers. Even though we getting beat, I'm still trying to get mine tonight. So I mean that's true.
Numbers, yeah. So, yeah. And last week they had a test. They had back-to-back games against OKC. They had back-to-back games against Golden State and the Lakers. Curry, who went on to have a couple 40-point games later in the week, he blew out the Lakers. Now, you can say the Lakers didn't have LeBron. It's true, but OKC was playing without their second best player,
Jalen Williams,
this year. So what is that team going to look like when they're at full strength? You know, they're not even at full strength yet.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You're watching Hampton and JD. I keep trying to put you in front of me on our title, man. We're watching Harris and Hampton with Bobbi Roquemore. This is our very first edition here on Sports Fluent. Please subscribe to us and like us, and let your friends know. I can't wait for you guys to meet Bobbi, to get her insight on things. A very bright young lady who has a very interesting perspective on sports. And I'm hoping she's going to check in tonight, because I was going to get her to talk about her beloved Cleveland Browns going to be starting Shedeur Sanders this week.
Boy. Yeah.
And good luck to that young man, because the Browns, they struggle to score the football. Man, got a great defense, and that I look at them and in my years covering Detroit Lions football, I'm like, damn, that's the Lions, man.
Yeah,
that's the whole Lions. Yeah. Somehow they're gonna find a way to screw it up. So,
yes, they do.
But I hope that young man can go out and have a good game. It's a pretty tough time for the Sanders family right now, JD. Coach Sanders out in Colorado has had a terrible year. I think they're 3-8.
I think they're 3-7. They have two games left.
Yeah. 3-7 this year, and one thing, the university still likes him, and I don't know. He got the a vote of confidence from the university. Sometimes that could be good or bad, but I think that's going to be good for Coach Sanders, because he brought a ton of excitement to Colorado with him, and they were selling out like they hadn't been selling out. But man, college football has become big business, and if you're not putting money into that program, which I'm sure Colorado's doing, Dion wouldn't be there, you're gonna be in trouble. Because JD, I look at what Vanderbilt is doing. Vanderbilt is 8-2.
Yeah.
They were in the top 10. They're still in the top 20. I think they're 15-16. And I was thinking, I always knew Vanderbilt had a lot of money, but I never knew Vanderbilt was interested in putting money into their sports program, but apparently they have, and they got a good coach and Coach Lee, and now look at what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, but you always saw Vanderbilt as, the great school to go to, great academics, somewhat competitive, and that's the thing about sports. Coaching is important. Money is more important. Yeah. Those that put money and invest in it, you usually are going to show positive results. And that's what we're learning now in college football, especially, that you pay money, invest money, you make good, wise decisions, and you can be competitive. But you got to spend cash. Unfortunately, that's the name of the game in big time college athletics these days.
Yeah, and there's no going back.
No.
People say, man, I miss the old days. Well, you need to go to a D3 game or something. And even those cats are getting NIL money at the D3 schools. But JD, you mentioned the importance of coaching. And going back to the NBA and the Pistons, I'm a Detroiter, so I see them all the time. The job JB Bickerstaff has done there. This team, not even 2 seasons ago, I guess about a year and a half ago now, lost 29 straight games with essentially the same roster. Now, these guys are 2 years older, but that's telling me Bickerstaff has developed the talent that's there. He didn't let that losing mindset set in, and he has built a culture there. And those are all intangibles. But do you think, and you've seen great coaches, you wrote about a great coach, Mike Tomlin, and how important is it to have that, to build that culture that I don't even have the right word to describe it, but you know what I'm talking about.
Basketball so much so because it's different now. If the players don't respect the coach, and the salaries that are now in the NBA, it's hard to get guys to buy in. They'll play hard, play defense. You're not always going to get your 20 points. It's hard to do now these days. So a coach that's able to get, and he has some young players, so he's getting young players to develop like a veteran type mindset, which doesn't happen a lot. And then they start to see results, right? They see positive results. And they were close last year. They went to Game 7 with the Knicks.
That's something. Tendex again.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, they'll be lucky to win a game. You were like, whoa, don't be too quick.
Yeah.
And they really could have beat them, but they didn't. They just didn't have I think their inexperience hurt them. But Tendex called that.
It's a close series, and you want to look at it now. Those two teams, Detroit has continued to get better. Where the Knicks, at least rating wise, right now, they have a new coach, but they've surpassed the Knicks ratings now. They have moved past the Knicks. Detroit has, according to Tendex. So they're on a steady rise. So if they met in the playoffs again this year, right now, I would pick Detroit. I mean, they have a better rating by far. They have their rating is they're 108.5.
Yeah,
and the Knicks are 104.
Yeah.
So that's they've continued to get better, and the Knicks are playing it pretty much at the same pace they were last year.
Hey, tell me, we always hear this. Can Tendex evaluate the best player in the league?
Oh yeah, we'll definitely have some of those. We'll look at MVP candidates, and I think a really good comparison will be Shai Gilgeous and Joker, because they play different positions, and so people pretty much are giving their opinion. Okay, I think this guy's better because I like him better, or I don't like that guy. But what Tendex will do, it'll give you the rating. It'll give you Shai's rating, and it'll show you what the average rating is for the guard position, which he plays, and it'll give you Joker's rating, and it'll give you the average rating for the center position. And then we'll see how high their individual ratings are above the average. And the difference is what the rating is. So if Shai is plus 340 and Joker is plus 300, according to their Tendex. So Tendex allows you to literally compare players who play different positions. A lot of people it's hard for people to just compare a guard with a center with a forward, but Tendex can do it because each position has its own individual rating, which is what makes Tendex so unique.
Yeah. Hey, do you remember back in the day maybe some of our baseball fans out there will remember Moneyball, that the Oakland Raiders, Oakland Athletics. Is this Tendex along those lines?
I mean, they look at, I think they look more specifically at certain things that players did well, as opposed to, I know one guy, they were looking at a guy because he walked all the time. He wasn't the greatest hitter, but he got on base. So to them is maybe getting on base is as good as a hit. If he gets on base a lot, if his batting average is 250, we can live with that because his on base percentage is high. So in that regard, Moneyball, it would focus on the things that those individual players did really well, and they would just combine all those different skills into this team. That the irony is that they never actually they won, and they won better than people thought, but they never won everything. They never won the title, which is why a lot of those baseball aficionados never fully embraced it. They never won, or it's not real analysis. Come on. His argument was, well, the way you guys have been doing it, the 5-tool player, you said the guy was a 5-tool player. He wasn't. He wasn't a 5-tool player. How do you know? You say it because that's what you believe, but in your heart, you don't really know. Tendex is not always right, but Tendex will give you an indication, hey, this guy's got a really good rating. And history shows that 75 to 80% of players that have good Tendex ratings are really good players. And there's one stat I told you about before. It shows you how far ahead of the game OKC is. Tendex looks at steals and turnovers. And I took the top 5 teams I looked at for each of them. OKC has the best ratio. People look at the assist turnover ratio. Tendex looks at the steal turnover ratio. OKC has 30 more turnovers than steals, which is incredible. So they've turned the ball over 30, but they almost have as many steals as turnovers. And the next closest team is actually Denver. They have 70 more turnovers than steals. So what does that mean? It means that if you're stealing the ball, taking the ball almost as much as you're turning it over, you're getting way more possessions.
Many more.
Yeah, and it's no coincidence that they have by far the best rating. They had a similar rating last year. They buried the same type of steal turnover ratio last year, and it's not a sexy stat. People look at assist turnover, but possessions are very important in basketball. And playing this type of defense, OKC gets defense, and they don't turn it over a lot, so they don't give the other team as many chances for possessions.
Hey, JD, do you think the NBA today? You remember everybody needs to have these triplets, these 3 superstar guys. But you look at OKC. I mean, Shea is obviously a superstar. Jalen Williams and the big center. I can't think of his name. He's not he is a center, but he's not big. He's long.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Yeah.
Oh shoot.
That could be their big 3.
Yeah.
Oh, Chet Holmgren.
Chet Holmgren.
Yeah. I mean, that could be their big 3. I mean,
but Shea is great, and these are really good. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you something. He's a lot better this year. He shoots the ball a lot better. He's a much more assertive offensively than he was last year. He shoots the 3 very easily now. He's still a very young. Only played 1 year of college at Gonzaga.
You know what I appreciated about him, especially being so frail? I thought he was going to get beat up, man. But he will go in there and mix it up. I mean, He's not backing down from guys. He'll try to dunk it on you. He'll get pushed around, but he's going to come right back. You got to push him again. So again, that's part of the culture that they are built. They have built out in OKC, and it's really impressive. I said, you hate to make a proclamation. 13, 14 games into the season, but they just look so much better than anybody else out there. I would say the closest team would be Denver. And we just lost JD. Okay. But hey, this is Rickey Hampton watching Harris Hampton with Bobbi Roquemore and attorney Bobbi Roquemore. I'm Rickey Hampton, and unfortunately, neither Harris or Bobbi are here right now. So I'm gonna give JD a couple of minutes. Hopefully I can get him back. We're gonna be here every Wednesday. We got JD back. JD, good to have you back, brother.
I lost.
Good to have you back. Can you hear me okay? I was just telling everybody we'll be here on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. talking all kind of sports. Talk a lot of NBA basketball. JD has vast experience coming to the National Basketball Association. JD's a longtime sports columnist as well as I, and Bobby is a attorney, sports attorney. Please send us your any questions and comments you might have about the show. JD, are you there, brother? We're having some.
Rick, I'm thinking about maybe give me a few seconds. I'm thinking about moving to another spot here in the studio. How about that?
Okay. While you're doing that, I see you out there. Please send me any questions and comments, any topics you'd like to discuss. Your thoughts on John Harris's 10-deck rating system that has OKC as the best team in the NBA by far, and I think they can pass the eye test to back that up. And I was going to say before I lost John was I believe their closest competition would be the Denver Nuggets with the Joker. I mean, this guy is just incredible. And I would like to, I wonder where people will rank him among the all-time great centers when he's done. I'm old enough to have seen Wilt Chamberlain play in the latter years of his career, and he was fantastic then. JD, I was just saying, talking about the dominance of OKC, and I think the closest competition would be Denver because of, they have Murray, they have the Joker, they have Gordon, they got some good solid players around them. But I was just thinking about when Joker finally hangs it up. Think about it, this guy's a second-round draft pick, and he's obviously going to be top 10 center of all time, maybe top 5. And I won't be surprised if he gets some votes up there at 1 or 2 with Wilt and Kareem, who generally occupy that space. JD, can you hear me? Well, folks, this is our first night, and we're having some technical difficulties here, but we will get it together, and we will be here every Wednesday. But this is a topic I want to broach with JD when we get him back, if we get him back tonight or next week. And I want to hear your thoughts on where you think the Joker will end up all time. He's definitely the best second-round center ever picked. I can guarantee you that. JD, you there? Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, we're going to get on and just close it down for the evening. Our first show, we had a couple of bumps, but here he is.
I'm here. I'm trying to find a better place in the studio here to
I was just saying we had a couple of turnovers here, man. Our first show, but it's all good, and we are making some.
I apologize. Hey, we'll get you.
Oh, not a problem.
We'll get you straight sooner or later.
We are making new friends here on Sports Point, and of course you can catch me again on Mondays with my great friend Paul Mokeski on We Got Next. Mondays at 7. And JD, we'll just go a couple more minutes. But I was just thinking that, I think Denver is the only team that can give these guys not the only team, because you never know. If everybody's healthy, when they meet and when playoffs get here, Denver will have their best bet because of the Joker, and I was just wondering where people will put him when he finally decides to retire.
His rating, I mean, just going by his rating, I mean, it may be, I think Will Chamberlain probably had the highest center rating. Just going off of Tendex. I'm thinking the Joker might be, when it's all said and done, he could be number two, maybe
Yeah,
three.
I,
He's still, yeah, Tendex wise, he could be number two and number three. I could see that. I
and
could
it's so
see
funny
that.
because I usually think, I I was saying I was old enough to see Wilt even in his when he was in his 30s, and he was. I mean, people, there are people saying, "Oh, he could have never played today." I'm like, dude, are you crazy?
Oh
Uh,
yeah, I don't even know what they're talking about.
yeah, I think Joker's right there. He's right there with Kareem. I mean, he's just he's a and he was a second round draft pick, and he can't jump over my pencil here. But he's a highly
No, he,
skilled.
he plays he plays the whole he plays the old fashioned game, right? I laugh at the way he likes to contact, he likes to initiate
Yeah,
contact in the paint. A lot of players, defenders don't like that. They don't like to get bumped away. He just makes his moves off of that body. He uses your body, then he spins off of it or just plows you into the floor. And he's got that soft touch, in the lane, or he can shoot threes. He's a great passer. I mean, he just does it all. But like you said, he doesn't jump over a piece of paper. His
right.
vertical is what, 15 inch vertical?
He can't jump over a piece of paper, but
No,
he will give you numbers, brother. That's for sure. Hey,
he is. He is. Yeah.
over the years, how does a guy like Draymond Green stack up in the Tendex rating?
I mean, during their championship years, he had a very good rating. I think the only thing that probably, and I think I don't have him in front of me, but I think he probably was one of those guys that has a really good steal turnover ratio.
Yeah.
He didn't turn the ball over
That
a
is
lot.
probably jumped off the page. Yeah.
Got steals. Really initiated their fast break with his defense, with his rebounding, and the thing that Tendex can't do are the intangibles. He brought a lot of intangibles. Physicality, emotion. Those are things that Tendex can't, register that. So you have to factor that in on your own. What Tendex is more of a guide to let you know that this player right here has a rating that's, way above the average. And you can factor that in with everything else. His side note, the kid might be a great college power forward, but he might only be 6. And then, can he play that same game at the NBA level, or will he have to move and become more of a perimeter player? And if he becomes a perimeter player, will he lose some of the inside effectiveness? So, but Tendex will at least tell you this guy has the potential to be an NBA player, and that's I think what Tendex does more than anything. It just because there's so few guys that have really high ratings. The few that did you see, they just jump out at you. I hear people talking about the kid at Duke, not the kid with Dallas, but the kid with Charlotte. He had a very high Tendex rating. He's a freshman. I can't pronounce the name with a K. He had a very high Tendex rating. I mean, I just did his rating. I didn't think about it, and he's played very well so far. I think he's averaging more points per game than his teammate at Dallas. But Tendex just spotted him and said, "This is a guy who has the ability," and he was a top 10 pick. So that's what Tendex will do. It'll guide you and tell you this guy, even though he's not getting the hype, even though he may not look like that kind of a player. And the originator, Dave Herron, one thing he always told me, it took him years to do it. He said, "You learn to trust Tendex. It may go against what you actually believe. You may actually like another player better personally." And on the year that he did the draft with Kevin Durant, Greg Oden, he personally liked Greg Oden better, and he rated Greg Oden better than Kevin Durant, even though Kevin Durant had a better Tendex rating. And as
Right.
it turned out, because of injuries and everything else, Kevin Durant was a far superior player. So he didn't trust his own system. His system told him that Kevin Durant was a better player.
Right.
So you learn through experience, trial and error to trust Tendex. It's not always right, but hey, scouts, they're wrong all the time.
All the time. I think I think the NBA draft is probably the most difficult draft to pull off. The NFL draft, I mean, even if the guy, okay, he's not quite what we thought, but he's still, because you got so many more, obviously, roster spots. You got 53 roster spots. NBA, man, you only got 1 or 2 chances to make it happen. So you gotta hit on that. And I would be relying on all kind of tools like that to help me in the decision making.
Oh yeah, a lot of it's ego driven. These scouts, a lot of it's ego driven. And Dave Heron, the originator, he worked for quite a few teams. He would do individual consulting work for them. He was actually offered a job by the New York Knicks a long time ago. No, I'm sorry, New York Nets, New Jersey Nets. Willis Reed was the general manager and wanted him to come on board. He just, because he lived in Florida and he wanted to keep his family there, he didn't take the job. But I often wonder what would have happened to the Nets if he had taken that job, and they may have won I don't know if they've ever won a championship. They may have won a couple of championships with Dave Heron, because Willis Reed, first off, you have to find a guy, a front office person that will believe in the system.
Right.
Right. And then once they believe in it, then they trust you, and then you can go from there. So Willis Reed, an all-time great player, trusted Dave because Dave worked for the Knicks and Willis Reed played for the Knicks. So he was familiar with his system.
Right. Right. Willis Reed, another great player with that little left-handed.
Oh, yeah. He was great. He had a very good Tendex rating. He had a very good Tendex rating.
Hey, JD, we're going to get out of here, man. A great first outing here on Sports Fluent. Thank you all for tuning in. I see you all out there. Next time, send us some of your questions and comments. But I'm really glad you took this hour out of your busy day to let us visit with you. And we'll be back on Wednesdays. Until then, from my great friend, John Harris, I'm Rickey Hampton. Good night, everybody. Thank you once again.
Good night.
Chai.